Day 2 of our Oregon trip. Guys missed day 1 of our Oregon tour. Check that out here. We went to Cannon Beach and just traveled all along the west coast of Oregon. That was a super lit video, so make sure you guys tune in for that. Day 2, I'm talking all about our dispensary tour and our skiing trip to Timberline Lodge. So for the dispensary tour, I didn't really get any footage because honestly, it's super weird to be in dispensaries filming. I just wasn't comfortable shooting their setup. I don't know if it's because I'm from Florida and it's not legal there, or just because I felt like it was an invasion of privacy to be in someone's establishment just filming all their stuff. People are crazy, you know, they'll do all type of stuff if they see what you got set up, you know? So long story short, didn't film too much of that, but my favorite dispensary was Dispensaries, Eden. I really liked Eden off of, it's like the only dispensary. That's the one thing about this Eden shop is it's kind of out of the way. My second favorite dispensary it's Black owned and it's a Black hip hop dispensary. The coolest thing I ever saw in my life because they had different strains of cannabis and had it linked to rappers and musicians, which, like, if you're a connoisseur, I thought was amazing because you can get a strain and listen to that artist and just be totally in the vibe. So, man, I'ma just find the name of that and tag it. Oh, you found it? Green Moose. Green Muse Dispensary. Shout out to Green Muse, man. We found them on the last day that we were there. I wish it would have been the first because easily the best vibe, best culture, super affordable. Like their joints were like, and carts. I want to say they had like $21 carts of 0.5 or something like that. Milligrams. Either way, super affordable, support Black owned business, really like the culture of that place. But those are really the top 2. Every other dispensary I feel like pretty much had the same thing. They didn't really stand out in the way that their energy was to me, but all of the dispensaries in Oregon are awesome. Like I had not one bad experience there, and the weed is super affordable, especially flower. If you are someone who's okay with traveling with it, or if you just want to buy a large lump sum, Oregon is definitely the place. They had grams for $4, $4 grams. I've never heard of that unless it was Reggie, and they stuff was loud. So definitely mess with the dispensaries in Oregon. So moving on to the skiing experience, which was freaking awesome, but I also don't have much footage of that because I didn't want to damage my camera being in the snow. So most of the clips are gonna be from my iPhone, but either way, great quality. First of all, bring something to shovel the snow and bring something to scrape your windshield, because as you can see, we ended up using an umbrella because we were totally not expecting to get snowed in the way that we did. It actually was a blizzard when we went, so be mindful that the conditions are up to God. Like whatever source says that it's gonna be that day, you have to be prepared to deal with it. Have proper gear. So we also underestimated how cold and how intense. I've never been in conditions like that. So first of all, I bought some cheap ass sunglasses, and that was the worst thing ever because instantly they fogged up, and actually all of the snow ended up getting trapped in my eyes. So the shades helped a little bit, but really, we ended up spending $150 just on gear per person, because the goggles that we got were $90 from the lodge. The gloves that we bought were like $70 each. It was so worth it. I don't regret it by any means at all, but I know if I would have been more mindful and did a little bit more research on skiing, that I would have been able to get all that stuff off Amazon for probably cheaper. Either way, Timberline has a wonderful, extensive amount of gear. Their employees are so thorough, so informative, and considerate. Like, the guy wasn't trying to upsell me on the most expensive stuff, which I super appreciated. And honestly, I'm just gonna get right to this part too, which I'm not gonna talk too much about on this video because I'm gonna save it for another video. But Oregon is super safe for Black people. Like, they really love Black people there. I am from the South. Once again, that is not something that I'm accustomed to. That is not my status quo. Just to be straight up and honest, I did not feel racism at all. They were running towards us to have conversations and to be inclusive, which I very much so appreciated, especially seeing that there's no Black people in Oregon. It's the craziest thing ever. They love Black people, but there's no Black people. So thank you, Timberline Lodge. Thank you to the employees. I really wish I remembered the guy's name that helped me. I think it was Kevin or something like that, but you know who you are. You, my boy. Make sure that whatever vehicle you drive is snow safe. So we rented a car. The car that we had all-wheel drive and snow tires. If you don't have that, do not go. Straight up. It's a super sketchy drive. It's a very steep up and a very steep way down, and it's snowing, and there are semi trucks, and it is a lot going on. So make sure that if you're driving there, that you have a safe car. Super sketchy. Make sure that you get an instructor. I cannot stress this enough. If you've never skied before, pay that. I think it was like $50 an hour for an instructor or something like that. Pay for it. It is so worth it. We had a super thorough instructor. He was so patient. The instruction time is only an hour, but you learn so much in that hour. I cannot tell you enough how it made our experience, like, because we were actually able to do rounds like down the slopes. If we didn't have that instructor, I would have bust my behind every time, because I still fell a lot. So make sure that you just have enough money to make the experience worth it. And that brings me to another point. The food and the liquor is pretty freaking expensive there. So if you ain't packed nothing to eat, definitely have at least $50 for lunch. And I'm talking about just for like a sandwich and some fries. Have some money, because it was not cheap. And another thing, in the Timberline Lodge right now, if you're not staying in the actual lodge, because that's another awesome part, the lodge actually has a resort. So if you want to spend the night and really engulf yourself in the experience, you can rent out a room there and ski all you want. But if you don't have a room, the Timberline Lodge Cafe is not allowing people, due to COVID-19, to actually eat in their lodge. So you would have to eat outside, which was freezing. It was so much snow. It's so uncomfortable. I don't know why anybody would ever want to do that. We literally ate on the floor sitting down, but it was cool. Like, everybody's super chill, and we were smoking, so it didn't really matter. But we weren't even supposed to do that. It was just snowing so bad that I refused to eat my food outside in the snow. But yeah, be mindful of that. I suggest packing a lunch just so that you can go to your car and eat in the car where it's comfortable. Once again, for the drive, it was also very low visibility and lots of ice. So definitely don't sleep on the drive. That will kind of change the experience. Well, very much so change it if you don't have a car that is ready for that type of terrain, because it can be very dangerous. But just be very mindful that you're gonna have to take your time. So this is another trip that you're gonna wanna start out early if you're trying to go. So that, because you're also going to be dead tired, so you definitely want to do it earlier before the sun starts to go down, because it's really high, so it's always kind of a little overcast. But either way, all in all, wonderful experience. I highly recommend Timberline Lodge. I'm so happy that we chose that place instead of some of the other lodges that they don't have the sledding, I think. Like the little tubing, I don't believe they offer that, but either way, they had a very extensive beginner slope. So for me, that was awesome, and I'm definitely going back the next time we go to Portland. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it was helpful. Feel free to comment below if you have any questions, or if you feel like there's anything that I left out, or anything you just want to know more about. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. It is free, and you will be supporting a Black-owned business and a Black queen, which, you know, duh. But yeah, thank y'all so much for joining me. I can't wait to see you guys next week. And go to Oregon.